Hey, it's Nikki, and I'm back, and I'm going to be doing a review for this new show called P Valley. It's on Stars, and it premieres tonight. Go watch it, because this will be up before, this review will be up before the show comes on. I really want y'all to go watch it. And if you're wondering, how did you already see it and everything, if it premieres tonight, I'm going to get the Stars, like the subscription, and just so I could watch more movies and so I could go back and watch Power like from the beginning. And P Valley, I saw it, and just like the imagery or like the graphics caught my attention. And if you can catch my attention for something, I might just watch it, and I did, and I loved it. So I'm going to be doing a review, and I hope you love it too. And if you like this review, and if you like the way I'm talking about the show, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you didn't still like, comment, and subscribe, it's so easy. You click like, you click subscribe, and then you're done. It's like 2.5 seconds. Like, subscribe, boom, boom. That's it. Um, so let's get into this review. So the show opens up, and it looks like this city or this town is flooded. Everything's just covered in water. There's cars like under the water. You see just stuff floating all around, and we see this really pretty black woman. She looks bruised, and she looks beaten up a little bit. She's fishing something out of the water, and what she's getting out of the water is a suitcase. Now she opens the suitcase, and it's some clothes, some shoes, a Yves Saint Laurent purse, little handbag, and a wallet. Now in the wallet there's like a ID and some like debit, credit cards, whatsoever, because I was like paying attention what's in his wallet. And the ID says, I think it says the state of Texas or whatever, but the girl on the ID kind of looks like the woman we see fishing stuff out, like that was fishing it out of the water. Now the ID says Lakeisha Savage. Now I can't for sure tell you that's who this woman is at this point. So the next time we see her, she is on the bus, like a little Greyhound situation. She's on the bus with the suitcase. She's trying to get some sleep, but you hear the kids in the background crying. It's like, girl, I don't even like riding a bus. I really don't. I lost my good bonnet on a bus. I also don't like people sitting next to me, so yeah, but I digress. So she's on a bus, and they stop that they have to do to give like a little 15-20 minute stop to give people time to go to the restroom, because nobody's using it on the bus if the bus doesn't have a bathroom. Go to the bathroom, get something to eat, have a smoke break. What they can do in a small amount of time before they got to get back to get no, the bus to get back to the destination. So she gets off the bus, and she's smoking a cigarette, and in the distance she sees these really bright pink pretty lights, like neon lights, and she's just so entranced, and she's just looking at it. and she starts to kind of walk over. Now, at the time she's starting to walk over, the bus driver is like, "Okay, load it up. We got to get back on the road." And she just keeps kind of walking. She's walking slowly at this point, and he's like, "Hey, little mama, where you going?" It's like, "We about to go." But she just keep walking, and she's going towards the lights. Now you'll find out, well, we find out later, that the lights belong to the strip club called Pink. That's who they belong to, which, the lights fit. Anyway, so the next time we see her, because it's like the first couple minutes into the show is more focused on her. The next time we see her, she's in a bathroom. She's cut, dyed, and kind of straightened her hair. So it's no longer the curly, not like mess, but it's no longer the curl that we saw earlier. And she's cleaned herself up. I don't know if it was like bruises, dirt, or whatever, but she's cleaned herself up and covered herself up. So we get to the Pink, and in the Pink we see one of the girls. Her name is Mercedes. She's in the back on a handstand, and she's talking to one of the other girls, Gidget. Now Gidget's a white girl, and they're talking, and she was like, "You need to put some Neosporin on that because Gidget has pole burn on her legs." I said, "Girl, I feel for you. I mean, I've never gotten on a pole, but I feel like that really hurts." I feel like firemen get pole burn, but I'll leave it alone. So, as they're talking, this is another pretty black woman. I mean, all these women are pretty. She comes to the back and she's bleeding. And we know her as Miss Mississippi, but her real name's Keyshawn, so I'm gonna call her Keyshawn. So Keyshawn comes to the back and her head's bleeding, and she's asking one of them to finish her set. And they're like, "What happened to you?" She was like, "Well, I was coming down off the pole into it, like doing a trick, coming down off the pole, and as she was doing that, a customer had put his beer bottle on the stage, and she ended up cracking her head on that beer bottle." Now she says just what she needed, another bruise, and just what she needed on her first night back because she just came back from maternity leave. So she begging the girls, "Can you go out and do it?" Get it like, "No, I just got off the pole, and girl, you got pole burn. I wouldn't do it." And she's asking Mercedes, "Can you do it? I'll give you a blunt." Mercedes is like, "No, I'm tired. My arms feel like they're about to fall off." And she begging them, and then you hear, "Miss Mississippi, you need to come back out here and finish your set." And she gives like Mercedes a look, and Mercedes is like, "All right, I do it, but you don't owe me more than a blunt." So Mercedes goes out to finish Keyshawn's set. Now Keyshawn goes and sits at the vanity, and she's just looking at her head, and Gitcha comes over and says, "You can cover," because it's a gash on her head from where the beer bottle and her collided. Okay, and Gidget says, "It's like right here," and she says, "You can cover that." But then we see a bruise on her neck, but she's like, "No amount of floss is gonna cover that." Talking about the bruise, so we find out that, or you could kind of can come to this conclusion that Keyshawn is in an abusive relationship, and is going to be a hard time for her. So I'm really digging her story. And she's just sitting there, kind of looking down. So now I'm going to go to Mercedes before I do anything else. Next time we see Mercedes, she is in what is it? She's in a private room. She's doing like a little lap dance for some guy, and he keeps trying to touch her, and she's like, "No touching." He tries it again, no touching. He tries it one more time. She takes his beer bottle that's sitting on the edge of the table, cracks it, and holds it up to his neck and said, "I told you no touching." So in comes Diamond, who's security, who's also Benny from the Haves and the Have Nots. And I'm like, "Cool, you got another job." And he's really good in his role, just for the first episode. Benny yokes him up. Not Benny. Diamond yokes him up and throws him out outside the club. Now, Mercedes, it takes the dude's wallet because he didn't left his wallet. She takes it and walks away. She was like, "Hey, this is my tip for tonight." Now, when he threw him outside the club, we get to meet a new person. But I gotta stop because I get to go back to why this new person is important. Okay, so we take it all the way back to before not Mercedes had to, to like almost cut a dude because he kept touching her. And we go outside. So again, I say the security guard or the bouncer, whatever you want to call him, the muscle is Benny from the Haves and the Have Nots. And his character on this show, his name is Diamond. Now, it's a line full of people waiting to get in. Line full of people. I was like, Pink must be the place. In whatever area they're in the South or like their town or whatever. So we see the girl we saw like all the way from the beginning of the show, and she comes in and hops in front of the line. She's dressed up. She looked way too dressed up to be coming to a strip club, but she looked good. Now the guy in front of her pays $20, so when she gets in front of Diamond, he was like, uh $30, little mama. And she was like, but dude just paid 20. He was like, 30, and these is not my rules, these are Uncle Clifford's rules. So he points to a sign and is like, for men 20, for women 30, and then some more rules. And she broke, she ain't got no money. And she was like, how about, because she's pretty, she was like, how about I give you this 20 in my email. Now Diamond looked like he playing into it just a little bit, and he was like, girl, if you don't get the fuck on, her face cracked. She thought by using her looks, she was going to be able to give him that 20 in an email to get into that club. And he was like, rules is rules. So as she's about to leave, she sees a sign for the booty bouncing contest, $50 for whoever wins. And she realizes, okay, this is how I'm going to get in there. So she goes over and stands in that line. Now, we get back to when I said we meet a new person, when Diamond yoked the dude up and threw him out, we get to meet Uncle Clifford. And Uncle Clifford is beat to the gods. Oh my god, hair, them long, pretty nails that takes forever and cost a lot, makeup, clothes, shoes, everything. So we get to meet Uncle Clifford. Uncle Clifford was like, oh, you better go home to your wife, tell him to do, because, stop touching my dancers. You know the rules. Go home. Anyway, so the sheriff pull up, and the sheriff see all of that, and he was like, I hope he not drunk. He was like, nah, he just seen too many women. Anyway, so the sheriff was like, y'all know y'all can't be serving no liquor in there. And Uncle Clifford was like, nobody serving no liquor in here. Nobody getting drunk. They are. But I guess, because the sheriff said, this new mayor is cracking down on it. I guess the new mayor don't like alcohol or don't like drinking. I'm like, okay, sir. Like, really? In a strip club? No alcohol? What is wrong with you? Anyway, so the sheriff is like, I hope y'all not drinking. And Uncle Clifford has this to go food container, and he gives it to the sheriff. And the sheriff opens it, and it's 2 stacks of money. And the sheriff is like, I'm gonna go get this home before it get cold. So I was like, Uncle Clifford paying off the sheriff, and the sheriff don't have no problem with it. So they leave, and then we see Uncle Clifford with the booty bouncing girls for the amateur night, because that's basically what it is. It's amateur night. And he's running around. He's running down the rules for them, and he was like, "Okay, you get 2 minutes to hit that stage and do what you want to do. Um, the prize is $50 in a hot plate." And then he was like, now what's y'all names? Now the first girl he go to, he was like, now I hope your name's not Alize, because the last Alize we had up in here was a And she was like, okay, I'm gonna think on it. And eventually her name is Alize. And I was like, girl, you didn't think hard. So then we go down the line, and the one girl's name is Strawberry. And I was like, not Strawberry. Okay, Strawberry it is. And another girl's name is Blue Cinnamon. I said, That don't even sound right. Like that's not even a good stripper name. But I'm gonna leave that alone. So Blue Cinnamon. Then he gets to the girl all the way from earlier, and he was like, "What's your name?" And she was like, "Autumn Night." And he was like, "Okay." And he looking her up and down. She's a pretty girl. And he was like, "Okay, now where's your floss?" She realized she is too dressed up for this. And he was like, "Okay, go to that lady over there and she'll hook you up." So there's a lady selling floss. And if you don't know what floss is, that's just the stripper attire. Basically dental floss. It covers literally almost nothing. But he sends her over to a lady, and she points out this pretty blue one, which complements her skin well. And she was like, "It even lights up in the back." And Autumn was like, "How much?" She was like, 15. Autumn was like, "Ooh, girl, that 15, oh, steep. I ain't got that 15." And well, she don't say that, but that's how she looked. And a lady realizes, ah, she look broke, she look broke. So the lady was like, "I give it to you for 10." So she gave it to her for 10, and one of the girls noticed that Autumn had a YSL bag, which is Yves Saint Laurent, and she was like, "Oh, she got a YSL bag," and or she's wearing YSL, and Autumn just happened to correct her and say, "It's Yves Saint Laurent." And they think, "Oh, this bitch is bougie. She thinks she's better than somebody," which I don't know how that equates to being bougie, just knowing how to say the names of these labels. But I'll leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. So we see Mercedes again, and she goes to Uncle Clifford and gives him this flyer, and it says Mercedes' last dance. Now, she is retiring from the strip club. She said the retiring age is about 25, so I think her birthday is either coming up or she's already 25. And he was like, "Who I'm gonna get to take over your Sundays?" So Sundays are her day to show up and show out. And she was like, "I don't know, but you got to the end of the month to figure it out." Okay. So we see Autumn. She's on stage because it's time for the contest to start. Okay. And she up there getting it. But as she's dancing, we get kind of like a flashback, or we just like looking at the memory of what made her leave wherever she was, what made her run. And she's being abused, and this guy's held her at gunpoint. We don't know who the guy is. We never see his face, but we know that it's a guy. So she wins the contest. She wins her little $50 in a hot plate, and she ends up asking Uncle Clifford, "Are you hiring? Um, do you need another girl?" And he was like, "Yeah, you for sure hired," because he saw how pretty she was, and I feel like she's gonna be his next moneymaker. So Mercedes is like, "Why you keep trying to hire all these new girls?" He was like, "Why are you worried about it? Why are you even in my business? You about to quit soon." So Keyshawn and Gidget are sitting down and they hear, "Oh, she about to quit soon?" And they're looking like, "Really? You couldn't even tell us? We supposed to be cool. We supposed to be your friends. We partners, and you couldn't even tell us?" And she was like, "I was gonna tell y'all." And Gidget was like, "I mean, you've been saying you quitting for the longest." So they upset and they leave. And Mercedes looks at Clifford like, "Can you shut up sometimes? Can you mind your business?" He was like, "Oops, let it slip." So it's just Autumn and Mercedes left in the locker room, and sorry, Autumn goes up to Mercedes' locker and was like, "Is this one?" Oh, Mercedes is not seeing it for Autumn because she jumped up and said, I ain't gone yet." And she looks at Autumn and she was like, "You not even gonna make it a week." And I was like, "Yeah, she really not seeing it for you, bruh. Like, she don't even, she not liking you." Because when Autumn was dancing, they were watching her and it was kind of like, who is she? What is she doing here? And how did she end up here? So the next time we see Autumn, she is in this like dank, depressing ass room, with a pissy ass mattress lying on the floor, and she is getting pissy drunk while staring at a photo on a phone of a little girl. Now I could conclude that this is her daughter, so I'm thinking that whoever the dude was could have been her baby daddy, or a boyfriend, and I'm feeling like her daughter might be, I don't want to say it, she might be passed away. She might have went to the upper room already, or she might have got taken away from her, and the picture is the only thing she has left. These are just ideas I'm spitballing. I'm not for sure. We'll probably find out later. And she's getting pissy drunk, and she ends up spilling her liquor on her phone. And she tries to clean it up and tries to do what she can, but it's already too late. The phone has went to the graveyard where all dead phones go to, and she realizes that, and she realizes, well, if the phone's gone, I'm not gonna be able to see this picture no more. And I was just like, in my head, I was like, ooh, you can just go take it to get it fixed, but then I know you hurt for cash, so oh no. And she starts to scream and cry, and I was like, girl, you, I feel bad for her. Now the next time we see Mercedes, she's at church. Okay, because now we can conclude this is a Sunday. So she's at church, and you got all the people praise and worship, and then you got this lady on the microphone doing way too much. That she's doing way too much. And we all have those people who are in our churches who do way too much. And the preacher is just looking at her like, girl, if you don't shut it up and sit it down. But she's doing way too much. And Mercedes is just looking like, when is this going to be over? Like, when can I go get me some food? When can I leave? So the collection plate gets passed around, and Mercedes takes out the wallet of the customer who got too handsy with her, and she takes $200 bills out the wallet and puts it in a collection plate. And the dude just happened to be in church, and he sees her, and she sees him, and she gives him that look like, yeah, I'm using your money, and yeah, this is your wallet. So Mercedes ends up leaving. So the next person we see is Uncle Clifford. We see Uncle Clifford. Um, well, yeah, we see Uncle Clifford because this is just gonna how be. This is how I'm going to tell it. We see Uncle Clifford. He is changing out of his feminine flamboyant attire into his masculine flamboyant attire, and he's taking off his nails and everything because he's about to go down to the loan place to pay on his loan. The Asian lady said, not today. You already bounced the check here. You're not going to be able to post data check, pay with a check. No. She was like, if you want to save your club and you want to give your hoochie coochie dancer someplace to dance at, you're going to have to pay cash or money order because that's the only way you're going to pay on this loan. You know, Uncle Clifford loses it and starts to go off. And he was like, as much, you know how they be like, as much money as I did spent in this place, and he goes off, and there's people in the line. He was like, if you want to cash your checks and you don't want people taking your money, come on down to the pink. And then there's this dude, I feel like he's a Hispanic dude. Uncle Clifford goes up to him and was like, I got some tequila for you. I was like, Uncle Clifford, you're my spirit animal right now. I love you. So before Uncle Clifford and went off on the lady at the loan place, we do we do get a little scene. We're at the pink, and there's some dude taking pictures of it. I'm like, what is this? You trying to set some people up around here? I feel like that's what this is. And he's taking pictures in the daytime, and you see two, like the garbage truck back up into the parking lot. Two dudes come out, throw some garbage on the truck, and then one of them takes something off the truck. So I was like, I smell problems already because this right here is going to be something else, okay? It's going to be a mess. Uncle Clifford is now at the club, and it's like daytime, so they trying to get everything ready so they can open for tonight. And he was like, got some new rules for you bitches. And they not trying to hear it. They throwing it fit. He was like, new rules. And then he was like, where's Keyshawn? And they were like, oh, she on her way. She said she coming. And he's like, she run on CP time. So Keyshawn comes in, and she has a black eye and a split lip, and she's holding her baby. And she's like, oh, I fell. to me, it was like me, you, God, all the people in that room, and that baby. No, you did not fall. You might have fell on a fist, but you didn't fall. And Autumn sees her, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And Mercedes is like, "Obviously not, dumbass." So Uncle Clifford has Gidget take the baby, who's reluctant to take the baby, but he has her take the baby and have the girls go off and get ready for tonight. And he has Keyshawn sit on the stage, and he's just trying to cover up her bruises and everything. And she was like, "Oh, I hit him first." Uncle Clifford not buying that at all, and I was like, "Girl, I'm not buying it either." And he was like, "How many do you have?" And she was like, "I got two now." And she was like, "My oldest is with my mama." And honestly, she has two kids, and her oldest baby is with her mom, and then this baby is with her. And she was like, "He said he loved me." And Uncle Clifford was like, well, she's like, "He says he loves me, and you wouldn't understand it." Uncle Clifford told her his story. He was like, "I was with a man that beat the hell out of me until I had to out, and one day I had to out green his ass." So he poured hot grits on that man's penis, and he was like, "He never bothered me since." And she was like, kind of like, "Oh, I didn't know he went through that." So he was like, "I don't understand how you girls let these men mess up your money." And when he's saying money, he's talking about her face. Because, especially when you're really pretty, you selling your face. And especially when you are working in, like, if you're a stripper or actress or anything else, like, you have the talent, because it takes talent and strength and athleticism to get on that pole, okay? Fuck what you heard. Don't let nobody say no different. It takes a lot to go out there and put on a show like you ain't never, like, every single night, like you ain't never put on a show before. And it's like your face is what you're selling on top of your body, but your face is your money maker. And he was like, "If you lose this, what else do you have going for you?" And she's just sitting there, just like thinking. So she having a hard time. Now we do see Uncle Clifford and Big L, and Big L is his partner, business partner, cashing folks' check out the window. Big L hands Uncle Clifford this like check, and it says, I forgot what it says. It was like premium lands or something. And Uncle Clifford's like, "What is this?" So that's gonna play into the story later. Now we see a Hummer full of dudes pull up into the parking lot, and it's nighttime at this point. The pink open, people lined up, Diamond standing outside doing 20, 30, 20, 30. That's what just happened in my head. That didn't happen that way. So the dudes pull up, they hop out, and they go around to the back of the Hummer, and they got these two foam blocks, and one of the dudes wets the blocks, and he's about to put it in a bag, and the guy was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "You pad this bag with these blocks and makes it seem heavier than what it is." So he was like, "Oh, okay, I got you." So they walk up like they about to just walk straight into the club, and Diamond stopped them like, "Where you going?" And the dude who's in an entourage with all of them, he was like, "You don't know who this is?" They pull one of them. "You don't know who this is? This little murder. He the hottest rapper in the game. He's so hot right now." Diamond's like, "I don't care who you are or what you're doing. Get to the back of the line." He was like, "Really, bro?" Like, Lil Murder looking at him like, "Really, bro?" John was like, "You better get to the back of the line." So they end up slow walking it all the way to the back of the line while people's like, mm-hmm. Just, it was like, it ain't nothing worse than somebody, like, you walking up with the confidence like you about to get in and get sent to the back of the line. So we do see that Uncle Clifford, like, is having Mercedes, like, babysit slash show slash teach Autumn how to work the floor, and Mercedes don't want to babysit because there's money to be made that night. It's her night. It's Sunday, but he's having her babysit. So she's taking Autumn walking around the floor, and Autumn is stopped by like a nice looking guy in a suit, and he asked her, "Can I buy you a drink?" And she's about to fall for the okey doke, but in comes Mercedes, the OG she is. She was like, he ain't even popped his tags yet. And she was like, "What are you talking about?" And she was like, "He got that suit from Dillard's and he's going to take it back." Now, as you hear her saying that, you see the dude pushing the tag back into the sleeve. So, yeah, he better take this suit back. She was like, "He broke. He ain't got no money." So they still, well, they're walking around. And Autumn was like, "How did you know?" She was like, "You get to have FBI eyes in here." Basically saying you have to pay attention to your surroundings and you have to pay attention to what type of people come in here, because you have the ones who have the money and are not perpetrating like they do have the money. So, like, you have the perpetrators, like the dude in a suit, and then you have the people who gonna just sit back and not gonna be super dressy. They came in there to do what they came to do, and I was throwing money on some girls' asses. So she's like, "You gotta have FBI eyes." So they're still walking around, and the bartender calls over Autumn, and she was like, "Which one who you about to choose up in here?" And Autumn scans the room just a little bit, and she sees this guy with some retro J's on, and she was like, "Him with the retro J's or whatever." It was like a longer name, and the bartender was like, because all the money he got is on his feet. What you want is," and she points out this dude who's sitting in the back. He not really doing nothing, not really saying nothing. He's sipping on his drink. He got some money. She was like, "You want somebody like him?" And kid you not, that's exactly who Mercedes walked up to. And I was like, "Girl, you better follow the OG and you better follow her lead and learn something, because she know what she doing." And plus, if the show is setting it up to be the way it is, when she leaves, you possibly gonna be the new star. So, girl, get learn all you can from her. So we see Keyshawn. She's in the back. She's breastfeeding the baby, and Diamond comes back there because he's about to have his little lunch slash dinner, whatever you want to call it. And he sees her breastfeeding, and he was like, "Oh, my bad," and turns to leave her. And she was like, "You can come sit down and eat your food." And he does, and she's about to burp the baby, and he sees the bruise on her neck, and he was like, "I can handle that for you." She was like, "Nah, you don't need that on your conscience. You did a lot of that over there." So I think he's a veteran, and she was like, "You did a lot of that over there. You don't need it on your conscience here." He was like, "Better on mine than yours," and she was like, "Nah, I'm good." But they got a little chemistry going, and I was like, this is possibly going to be like a little good storyline to see unfold, especially because they have some chemistry. So Clifford come out there to get Keyshawn because it's time for her to hit that stage, and obviously she has the baby, and Diamond was like, "I'll take the baby," and she was like, "Are you sure?" He was like, "Yeah." So Keyshawn hit the stage. She's now Miss Mississippi, and she does what she does best. She works that pole, doing flips, kicks, splits, tricks, and all I got to say is, whether it was the actress playing her or a real life professional, oh my god, y'all did the damn thing. Like, I can't get up there. My big ass is not getting on no pole, okay? I support the naked hustle, but I'm not gonna get up there, okay? I don't want to break my little heart or hurt my little feelings or whatsoever. But she did amazing. And which is why I feel like strippers are athletes, because it takes a lot to be holding yourself up to spin, dip, all that on a pole. So we see Little Murder finally got into the club. He come in there throwing money or whatsoever or whatever. And he ends up getting like one of the back rooms that we saw earlier where, Mercedes was almost about to cut a dude. He got girls dancing, and Mercedes goes back there because where money is to be made, Mercedes shall be. And they talking or whatever, and she was like, he wants her to dance for him, and she was like, "I'm gonna want all that money." So the girls that are already back there, she snaps her finger like, "Y'all got to, you better go," and she was like, because she knows they padded the bag with 2 foam blocks, and she was like, "Oh, you only got like 5 stacks in there." Because the rest of it is like these foam blocks. And he's impressed. Like, how does she know? And she was like, I'm gonna need all of that. And he was like, okay. So she's about to start dancing for him. And you know who he spots? He spots Autumn. And he says, well, she look like Beyonce. I'm gonna save my money for her. I want her. And Mercedes is like, I'm not about to lose out on this money. So she was like, you can have the both of us. He's like, okay. So she goes and gets Autumn. And she was like, you need to take the training wheels off and come make this money back here in this room. And Autumn was like, well, Clifford said I didn't have to do that. And she was like, girl, if you don't come make this money, he wants to pay me and you a stack apiece. Now, what she don't know, and Mercedes being the OG didn't run game on her because she's still green. Mercedes is getting 3 stacks while she's getting 1 because altogether it was 5 stacks he blew 1 stack coming through the door and on these the girls that were there before. Now they get to the room and they start dancing and everything, and one of his dudes gets a little handsy, and Diamond come in like, hey bro, this ain't what you want and you better stop. Now Lil Murder told Mercedes, if you want the rest of his money, you're gonna have to do a lot more. So she take him to this back room, leaving Autumn in the room with the dudes. She take him to this back room and he gives her his AirPods to listen to his song because that's all he really wanted to do was have her dance to his song. Because if you know in the South, if a rapper has a song and can get the DJ to play it at the strip club and the dancers can actually dance to it, that song's going to pop like nobody's business. It's going to be a hit. So she listening to it. She was like, I can't dance to this. Girl, I heard the song. It was not great. She was like, I can't dance to this. And she's giving him some advice or whatever. And she was like, fuck it. I don't even want the money. So we go back into the room. Autumn's still in there by herself. And the dude started getting handsy with her again. Like, bruh, keep your hands to yourself. Like, I get it. It's a strip club. These women are beautiful. They fine as fuck. But keep your hands to yourself. Stop touching people without their permission. That's something y'all got to know. Stop touching people without their permission. Keep your hands to yourself. What's wrong with y'all? Anyway, he start touching on her, and she's like, stop touching me. And she says something that offends him, and he yanks her up by her arm, got a cool grip on it, and she's just apologizing how sorry she is, which I'm thinking is kind of like a little flashback or reminds her of her abusive past. And Lil Murder and Mercedes come in, Diamond comes in, girl, because now Autumn sees, okay, there's more people in here, needs the dude in his junk, and runs out the room. Now, Diamond started whooping ass, like he beat the hell out of all of them. I was like, you go ahead, protect them. I like that. He's always around when they need him. And Lil Murder runs after Autumn to apologize. Now he ends up running into Uncle Clifford, and he's trying to tell Uncle Clifford that he's looking for Autumn and he wants to apologize, but Uncle Clifford can't hear him because it's loud and there are people, all that. So Uncle Clifford goes off to the side, puts a little code in for this door, and they go into this really pretty white room, and it has clouds and everything. And Lil Murder was like, "Oh, it's something out of Super Mario or whatever." And Uncle Clifford's like, "That's before your time." And Lil Murder was like, "I'm an old soul." Out here flirting with Uncle Clifford, like, bitch, keep it pushing. You too young for him. Anyway, they're talking, and it gets on to Lil Murder was like, I like everything, and I like you. And Uncle Clifford was like, this ain't what you want, because bitch, I don't get old, I get experienced. And if you know where that's from, comment down below. Anyway, so Uncle Clifford sits down, and Lil Murder puts his AirPods in Uncle Clifford's ear and everything, and he got his crotch in his face. So I don't know what they did in that room, but honestly, it must have been something because Uncle Clifford went and switched Mercedes' song. He did, y'all. So Autumn's outside the club because she ran out after all that, and the dude who was taking pictures earlier is still there taking pictures at night. And he asked her, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm cool." And she sees the camera. She was like, "Are you taking pictures of me?" He was like, "No, I'm taking pictures real estate." I was like, "Autumn, you dumb bunny! If you fall for this, don't fall for it. Don't fall for that shit, bitch." He real estate at night? Who? Where? Who? How they do that? Huh? What? I'm like, I ain't never heard nobody taking pictures for real estate at night whatsoever. So they chit chat, they rap for a little bit, And she asked, are you coming to the club? And he was like, no. So he tells her his name is Andre something, and she says, oh well, my name is Haley, because originally she gave him her stripper name, which is Autumn Night. So she was like, oh, my name is Haley. Now, what I forgot to mention earlier in the day after Mercedes left church was that she went to her majorette practice. She is a coach. She has a team, and she was doing not doing practice. She was running practice. So we do find out that the lady who was doing all that hooping and hollering at the church is her mama, and this lady up here puffing on a vape pen. I said, "Do you, boo?" And she gives her mama a bag of money. Now her mama is like, "I'm not okay with hiding. I I'm not okay with hiding your booty money in the church's building fund." And Mercedes is like, "It was okay to put for my money to be there when y'all was getting that loan." And her mama ends up taking the money and leaves. Now we back to the club, and okay, I told y'all, Uncle Clifford, something happened in that room because Uncle Clifford switched Mercedes' song. So it's time for Mercedes to hit the stage because she is the headliner. So she hyping herself up, and she come out and she hear the song, and she said earlier, I can't dance to this. She can't. So the DJ ends up doing a remix, and she hits the stage. And like I said, put on a show. And like I told y'all before, I don't know if the actress is doing all of it or if there is a stunt double, but they both were amazing. And you hear like the music cut out a little bit because you're hearing like the grunts in the pants as she's working the pole, and she's climbing up there and she's doing all the spins. And I said, y'all are real athletes out here, because baby, I couldn't do it. I don't have that much upper body strength whatsoever. Now she does get down off the pole, and she's still dancing, and she ends up pushing this dude's face into her crotch. Now she's doing that. She looks up, and guess who's in the club? Her mama. So she, after her set's over, she has two bags of money. She's outside, still in her floss, and her mama comes up to her, and they start going back and forth. Her mama called her a hoe, said her body's a temple, and she's just showing off all her assets, and that if she knew she was making this much money, she probably would have been charging her double for the church fund to hide the money or whatsoever. And then she was like, I don't understand. You do all this. How are you ever going to get into heaven? And Mercedes was like, I heard hell it's hella lit though. And they just going back and forth. And her mom started praying to her, talk about where did I go wrong? X, Y, and Z. Use a hoe, use that, use this. And making Mercedes feel bad about herself. And Mercedes ends up giving her a bag of money. Now I was like, ooh, your mama is a user. She the type to make you feel bad about yourself or feel bad about a situation for you to give her something, whether it's money or something else, and she gave her that money. Mercedes has like a little breakdown in the parking lot, and we see her like go back in, and you know she goes off on the DJ for a little for changing her song, and he was like, that wasn't me, that was Uncle Clifford. Now Uncle Clifford gives Autumn and Mercedes, they stack of money. Mercedes was like, he said there's more than this. And Uncle Clifford was like, you know, there's always a lion ass ninja. And Mercedes was like, or a lion ass bitch. So Autumn cashes out for the night, and she takes his stack and she leaves. Uncle Clifford asked Mercedes, where's your tip out? Mercedes was like, I ain't got it. And he realized, oh, your mama done pulled that holy roller bullshit on you again and took her money. And Mercedes is sitting there looking stupid, like, yeah, I fell for the fucking okey doke again. So he goes over to the desk and he takes these stacks of money. And Big L was like, He popped Big L's hands and takes the money and hands it to Mercedes. And she's like, I can't take this. And he was like, here, LaMurder said this for you. He said to give this to you. So she takes the money, and he also tells her, I need you to train Autumn. Like, I need you to basically trying to have Mercedes train her and teach her the ropes, show her the ropes, all that, because I feel like he's setting her up to be his new headliner. So she ends up leaving, and Uncle Clifford and Big L are still in the office, and Big L was like, why'd you do that? We needed that money. Uncle Clifford said, shut up and count the money. So it's morning time. Everybody's outside the club. Keyshawn sees her BD in a distance in a car, and she kind of reluctant to go. And Diamond had came out. And he was like, "Do you need me to give you a ride?" She was like, "Not Erica, my ride." And she walks over to this raggedy old van, and I'm gonna call it that because if you beat on my bitch, your car is raggedy. And Mercedes was like, "Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me." And Gidget was like, "Well, leave it alone." And she sees Autumn. She's like, "Where are you headed? Do you need a ride?" Mercedes is like, I only got a two-seater. And Autumn was like, "Nah, I'm going to stay for a minute. I'm heading out east." And she points in the wrong direction. So Mercedes is like, "If you're heading east, you want to go this way." Points her in the right direction. And her and Gidget take off. And you just see Autumn still standing outside smoking her cigarette. And the dude is still taking pictures of the club. It's like, did you go home? Did you take a shower? Did you go and get you some food? Why are you still here? What are you doing? So that ends like this first episode. I really like the show. Y'all need not y'all should go watch it. Y'all need to go watch it. It's a really good show, and just the premise behind it, the creator of the show, she went around to all like a lot of clubs and strip clubs in the South, and she was getting the stories of all these women and just everything that happens down there. And she was trying to write a play, but when she finished all her research and all her writing, she realized she wrote a TV show. So it's really authentic, and y'all should go watch it. Boy, I can't wait to the second episode because Andre, you got to go out and see why you taking pictures. Keyshawn, girl, I'm hoping you get out of your situation. And Diamond, I hope you and Keyshawn have a happy life together. But I can't wait to see what the next episode is going to be like. And if you like this, like, comment, and subscribe. If you didn't, still like, comment, and subscribe. Like, what are you doing? It's simple. Like, subscribe. That's it. That's all. I'll see y'all later. Bye.